The final section we're discussing is God. The idea of God, is he an illusion or it an illusion?
See, the way you started, it shows we're all victims of the hypnosis of social conditioning. You
Yeah.
say he, and then you quickly change
I did.
it. Okay, is God an illusion? No, I think everything else is an illusion. God is the only reality. What is the future of belief? The future of belief is going to be based on experience, not just because somebody said so, or it's in the Bible, or it's in an ancient textbook. Although there are some great insights, by the way, in any religious literature, whether it's biblical or Buddhist or Judeo-Christian or Islamic. There's some great insights, but the future of belief is based on a deeper understanding of nature, which includes science. Science is one method, but remember, science is an activity in consciousness. We make observations in consciousness, we design experiments in consciousness, we make theories in consciousness, and consciousness science can't explain, because science itself is a byproduct of consciousness. When people say, oh, your brain produces consciousness, that's a metaphysical assumption. There's no proof of that.
Right.
So I think the future of belief is based on a deeper understanding of reality, which includes science, but is not only science. There are emotional ways of knowing. There are mythical ways of knowing. There are unitive ways of knowing. There are ways of knowing that go beyond your personal knowing, because you transcend to a more universal domain. Is there a fundamental reality? Yes, there is a fundamental reality, which is a field of potential that always was, is, and will be. It's the field of infinite possibilities, the field of creativity, the field of intentionality, a field that also at very fundamental levels is unpredictable, because we can't, it's not computable.
Well, when we think of reality, a fundamental reality, we know that the earth exists, we know that we live on this earth, and that one day we will no longer be here, but there will be other beings like us perpetuating the species. Is that a fundamental reality, or would you say things could change in a blink of an eye?
No. Fundamental reality is what creates that earth, what creates these beings, what creates you and me. And fundamental reality is the core of our being, actually. So even though you and I may not exist in this present form, with this kind of personality, we probably won't,
Right.
But there's a core of our being, the ground of our being, that is appearing as this right now. Just like you'll see an ocean, and you see waves on the ocean. The wave arises, the wave is there, and then the wave subsides. But even before it arises, it's water. In its arising, it's water. In its subsiding, it is water. So the wave was a pattern of behavior of the ocean. You and I are like that wave, a pattern of behavior of the ocean. But if the ocean is the ocean of consciousness, intelligence, then before you arise as this person that we call Diana, which is, what is Diana? It's all her relationships, meanings, contexts, thoughts, everything that's a consciousness absorbed as a result of experience. So before that arises, in the arising and subsiding, Diana remains as a conscious being. Consciousness before the arising, consciousness in the arising, and consciousness in the subsiding. So that is actually the goal of all spiritual traditions. Right now it's an intellectual thing, but if you could experience that I am that consciousness, I am the ever-present witnessing awareness in which the whole universe is arising and subsiding, including this person called Diana, and all these other persons, and the earth, and the stars, and the galaxies, and the plants, and the grasshoppers, and the snakes, and all of that, rhinoceroses and elephants, all of that is happening in the ocean of consciousness. And it's my ground state. If I can experience my ground state, I'm all set, I'm free. I've lost the fear of death. I also don't identify with a pattern of behavior of who I really am. And that in spiritual traditions is called enlightenment. And so, you know, we say that's the fundamental reality. And we can experience it. It shouldn't be an intellectual idea. So I would just want to say this is my version, not Leonard's interpretation. You'll have to read his interpretation, or you might have to get him here. I think what I'm going to do is send him these tapes so he can respond.
I would love that.
That'll be great. And
That would
I'll
be
tell
great.
him, do you want to respond? And if he wants to, he will. Otherwise, you just get my version.
Well, it's a great version at that. Very inspiring, enlightening, and very informative. So thank you for joining us
Thanks,
today.
Sandra.
This is paltalk.com, and I'm Diana Falzone.